Hey everybody, welcome back to A Matter of Life and Maiden, the podcast of the Beast. I'm Joe Labriola.
And I'm Matt Wagner.
And today we're going to talk about the Book of Souls live chapter, which was actually produced by Tony Newton. This is the first live concert that's been produced with a new producer. Kevin Shirley not on this one. The last one that he didn't do was Beast over Hammersmith.
That was a while ago.
That was in 2002 when it was released. Originally recorded in 1982 and not released till 2002. But Tony Newton did this one, and I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but Matt and I are fans of single venue shows when they're recording. Not that we don't love this, because we do. But we just prefer the single show. We think there's a little bit of a loss of energy when you shift from place to place to place to place, which it occurs.
And honestly, we probably wouldn't even do this at its own episode if it wasn't for our experience seeing the Book of Souls live.
Exactly. We were fortunate to see the Book of Souls tour in Washington, D.C. on June 3rd of 2017. And they played 6 songs from that album, which just fucking killed it, man. I mean, honestly, it was absolutely disgusting to see live. The live chapter does a really good job of capturing those songs on their own. But like I just mentioned, as a whole concert, it's not the greatest. I mean, Flight 666 suffers from the same kind of thing. Matt and I were actually on that show too, and we got to experience, Rhyme the Ancient Mariner. That was actually on that DVD.
Yeah, the show
we were there.
Yeah.
And at
you don't understand, man. I was there.
I mean, amazing. But it's not that it's bad. It's not that it's horrible. But we just want to get it out of the way. So we love it. I love the live chapter. The one thing I do have to say, though, about it is I really wish they would have released it on, like, a DVD or a Blu-ray because I want to own it, Yeah. I want to put it in and watch it in its concession without having, like, commercial breaks and stuff on YouTube, and I don't want to pay for YouTube Red, and I want to have, like, a special features thing where the band talks about the album, and they do a little bit of that on the chapter if you watch it, but I want to have, like, a history of Iron Maiden Part 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let's dive in, man. The intro for Book of Souls, the beginning, there's like blue lights. If Eternity You Should Fail, music's playing in the background. That's the first song. The trumpets are playing.
Yeah, they had that little video package to start with, and it's like I don't know if it's like Indiana Jones type, kind of reminds you of that.
Sort of, yeah.
And then Bruce comes out, and his lights are shining, and he has that drum. And I mean, like we've seen how many Iron Maiden shows. And this intro here is like one of the top.
That's disgusting.
Cool. I mean, just a cool way, a unique way. No Iron Maiden show's ever started like this.
Here is the soul of a man. Pounding on the altar.
Yeah.
It's smoking like in his face. Like there's smoke.
The atmosphere is like through the roof. I mean.
Amazing. He comes out with a hood up. You can like barely see Bruce. Like he's just like cloaked in black almost because he has a black hoodie on. And there's like a smoking altar.
Which is kind of like what Iron Maiden's about nowadays. The theatrics of it is kind of, they're getting older. I mean, there's no denying that. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the ways you can really like make up for the fact that, maybe they can't do the physical stuff on stage they used to is you add the theatrics. You add the showmanship to it. And in that terms, they're like better than ever.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is ridiculous. And when Bruce comes out and starts singing, the song actually starts and the stage lights up, you can see, like, this jungle. It's like a Mayan ruin in a jungle. It's just, like, disgusting. And the backdrop for this song is like a ziggurat, like a Mayan ziggurat or a Mayan pyramid with a temple. It's just a Mayan temple, and it's incredible.
The perfect way to start the show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we talked about, this song on our review of the Book of Souls album, and I think I kind of failed to mention this in that my favorite part of the concert, the live chapter, and even seeing the song live in my head because I witnessed it. Matt and I witnessed this together. And I remember how we talked about how their songs they kind of take you a ride down memory lane from all the old stuff. One of the lyrics in the song I forgot to mention was when Bruce says, "To the Lord of Light shining below." Lord of Light's like one of the best songs on A Matter of Life and Death, and it's I hit to that. Yeah. And he says, "Scream for me, Sydney," because I think it was filmed in Australia. So it's like amazing.
Yeah, just like talking about the show we saw in Washington, D.C., another thing that kind of like reminded me of the atmosphere is that Washington, D.C. is like was built in a swamp. It's humid. It's hot. And it reminded me of like being in the the Mayan jungle. It was like the same atmosphere, and you had those like crickets and sounds going off, and it's hot, and it's like it just transported you right to ancient Mayan civilization.
And another thing that was really intimate for us about this show was too, Matt and I have been to a lot of shows together, Maiden shows, and this was the first time we actually were in the pit, like really close to the band.
Yeah.
So it really gave us a really close, intimate feel. I mean, we were like really not that far. If when I post this, I'll also post a picture of Matt and I in the crowd. You can see Matt and I in the crowd, and Bruce is like holding a microphone, and you can see like
we think it's during Wasted Years. I think
it's during Wasted Years, and you can see Matt and I with our hands like thrown up. I have like Matt outlined it in red, and he outlined us like in the actual crowd picture above with everything, and it's awesome.
We'll kind of sums us up that we both like have our hands in the air or throwing like the horns at the same time. I mean, it was great.
You'll see we're mega fans when you see that. It's just you'll see us. You'll see us there. I'm wearing glasses. Matt's wearing glasses. We got baseball caps on. Our hands are thrown up. So, but another thing I love about this song, Nico's drum fill, his drum set, the way it looks in this tour. We just talked about all these awesome like drum sets he has.
It's like every tour they just keep plussing it.
Oh, I know. It's like it's a one up every fucking time. Like this, he has this drum set that's all his hardware accents and stuff are accented in gold. And the shells on his drum are just like these ancient Mayan like tribesmen, Indian, like on the poplar shells. His bass drum cover is the Mayan calendar with like a blood stain.
Disgusting.
He has a gong behind him that's like his normal gong is just encased in gold, and it has like a Mayan face on it, like the Mayan calendar face on it. It's just. Mm-hmm. It's
you can see Nico like on YouTube talking about his drum sets in no art, and he just lights up.
He loves
it. He's so proud of his drum sets,
and rightly so.
Oh yeah, it's one of the best, if not the best, in rock.
They are disgusting. I mean, and Matt just said like every album they plus it, and we talked about this when we talked about like Death on the Road and Dance of Death, how that was like kind of the start of like these thematic drum sets. And like Matt said, every single time since then they've plussed it. Like A Matter of Life and Death, he had like barbed wire and like tank and stuff on his shells and like bullet holes.
Yeah.
On,
somewhere back in time. Oh my god.
Fucking pyramids and hieroglyphics and shit. Like the Eye of Horus.
That was one that's like just classic now. I mean, absolutely amazing.
Amazing. Final Frontier had like planets and satellites on it and a black hole for the drum cover. And then this one, I mean, the Made in England, the reissue one his shells had like the ice sculptures of Eddie on them, and then it had the spirit Eddie floating like on the Seven Sun cover above the actual. It was just this. You have to see this one. Like I cannot explain it. And like Matt said, wait till we get to the Legacy of the Beast and like that.
It's probably my personal favorite. Yeah, the Legacy of the Beast one.
Legacy of the Beast is my favorite too. It's sickening, and then honestly, probably this one. Like
this one's
ridiculous.
Amazing. The art in general. We talked about the art in the last episode. Is it could be the best art that Iron Maiden's ever done. Period.
You guys watch the live chapter now. Go to YouTube, type in Iron Maiden Souls live chapter 2016-17 or whatever it is, and just watch it. There's like 25 videos, and it'll just stream in concession. Just watch them because you'll see what we're talking about. It's sickening.
Absolutely.
Another thing about this is amazing. That is, all the guitars have a harmony that wow, 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 wow. All three guitarists are playing that. And then Adrian's amazing outro solo. Adrian, I love you. Thank you for everything you do. You're amazing.
Yeah, they did everything like production-wise. They do the outro with Bruce's, voice shift and modulated. I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, My Name's Necropolis. That outro.
Yeah, that thing's amazing live too. I mean. When we saw it live, I mean, it was just blown away. Blown away, yeah.
And at the end of that, on this DVD, a flame stays lit on the ore that Bruce was pounding on that was smoking, and it just stays lit. It's awesome. And then it, fades out. And then they go into Speed of Light. Scream for me, South Africa! Scream for me! Yeah. Amazing. Oh, another thing that's awesome, too, is, when you see this, on the live chapter, they, do a shot of, Bruce, and he has, Mayan hieroglyphs on his mic stand. It's fucking awesome.
It's just little details. Production. Yeah, little details like that. It's incredible.
It's ridiculous. I mean, like we talked about on the album thing, this song was cool. We saw it live too. It's not one of the songs that I was excited to see live. It was cool to watch. I enjoyed it when I was there, but much like when we did the album review, for me anyway, it's just like one of the
There's not much to say about it live. I mean, it's just Speed of Light live, you know?
Exactly. And one of the things I will say about it, again, like I mentioned on the album, Davey solo and Adrian solo, amazing. They really do a lot of, shots in this song on the live chapter of Nick.
Yeah.
Nico. You get to see him playing the drums a lot on it. And one thing I thought was cool about this, too, the video recording of it is, Yannick plays a white Fender, like a white or cream-colored Fender, and he's usually playing like a really dark-colored black one. And it was kind of cool to see him play like a white or cream one on this. I thought it was neat because it's something rare that you really don't see. And Yannick does some really cool like outro, like guitar noodly stuff towards the end of the song to close it out, which I thought was really cool too. You know, it's kind of interesting. And then, but other than that, like Matt said, there's not really. It's kind of like nuts and bolts. There's not really too much like to say about it. And the same can be said for the next song they play, which is Wrathchild, which
it's not even 3 minutes long. It's just kind of it's Wrathchild. I mean, everybody. Yeah. I think a hardcore Iron Maiden fans probably don't want to like really listen to it anymore, but they just keep playing it. I think it's like Steve throws it in when there's like they don't know what to do. They don't want to rehearse anything new or whatever, and they throw it in. And that's it.
And it's cool because it is a part of Iron Maiden's history. And if you notice this when you're watching the live chapter, you might be like, "Oh, Bruce looks different," or "Davey looks different." Well, live chapter was filmed for 2 years. Like, it was filmed in 2016 and 2017. So I noticed when I was watching it, I was like, what the heck happened to Bruce's hair? Like, it's longer. He just, like, what the hell happened, you know?
Yeah, it's a year after the previous song, Speed of Light.
So it's kind of cool to go back and forth and see, like, that stuff. Yeah, and then again, it takes away from it sort of,
the only thing they did like this was the Flight 666 DVD. Mm-hmm. And that was filmed, every show was the one after.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a different feel. It's a different feel with Book of Souls. They're chapters, you know?
Yeah, they are. They're like little chapters in a book. It's kind of cool, but like the thing I do like about this version of it too is Adrian plays the intro riff. He pretty much plays like lead melodies throughout the song. Davey has a kick-ass solo. Janik has a kick-ass solo, and then towards the end, Janik plays like the lead melodies where Adrian played them in the beginning. So they kind of split the duties on that, which is really cool. Bruce does that really cool scream before Yannick solo, which is awesome.
Like I said, it's one of those songs that they just know really, really, really well, and they can just pull out whenever they need it.
Another thing Matt and I talk about all the time, we're guitar guys. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I recently just got a Fender Strat, like back in September, and I love the fucking guitar. I've always wanted a Fender Strat. I got a new 2018 Player Series. There's some custom shop features on it. I'm touching it right now. I love the thing. It's a buttercream color. It's an HSS. It's sexy as fuck. I love the guitar.
Now you have one just like the guys in Iron Maiden.
And I love it. And Davey plays this amazing. This is Matt's favorite. This is Matt's favorite color. He plays in this song, Wrathchild. And he plays it throughout the concert. It's my favorite guitar the entire fucking show he uses. It's a white Strat with a pearloid pickguard with a maple neck on it.
Yeah.
He usually, and the thing with Davey is he usually never plays maple neck. He plays rosewood. So to see that, I was like, this is sexy.
Yeah, I think if I'd ever get a Fender, it'd be like those like white ones that and the reason why is
Dave Murray.
Amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. His guitar in this is amazing.
Another way, like Iron Maiden influenced us to like, Fender guitars.
Absolutely. And someday, guys, when we're talking about the podcast, I'm going to go through, if Matt ever wants to do this too, I want to go through all my guitars in my collection and just tell you guys who influenced me to play what, because I have some stories about some of the stuff, and I've named all my instruments. That might sound crazy, but I've named all my stuff after Greek goddesses, and you'll find out why when we talk about stuff like that, if we ever get a chance to talk about that. But it's awesome. Another thing about the song that's awesome is when they fade out the camera work, Steve's like pointing at the crowd at the end, like Wrathchild. He's like pointing, and it's just like fucking wow. Steve Harris pointed at me, amazing.
Yeah, we always said about like we went to concerts, like Steve Harris shot us with his bass, like stuff like that. Like, oh my god,
amazing! And it's awesome. Like seriously, you can't. I love the band. I love them.
Yeah,
we just talked about how like we're not excited about like Book Souls live chapter. I'm saying you're like amazing, amazing. After Wrathchild, one of the things, the way it's filmed, the way this concert's filmed is actually really cool. Though, like some of the one-liners in this are really cool. Bruce has this really cool thing to open up with Children of the Damned. He's like, was it Children of the Damned? And then they play it, and it's like, Adrian comes out with this Ovation celebrity, like acoustic guitar playing the intro. Bruce says something in French. I don't know what the fuck he says, but it's awesome. There's lights flashing, Nick's drumming.
This when we saw them in DC, this was a song, Children of the Damned, we had never seen live before. I think we'd seen Iron Maiden like 5 times before, and we'd never seen Children of the Damned live. Yeah. So it was a treat. It was one of the songs I was looking forward to hearing. Absolutely,
man. It didn't disappoint either. I mean, it's every time, the album version, every time I see this song live on any tour, whatever it is, with the fucking line that I love so much, dude, it's just... melting his face, screaming in pain, peeling skin from his eyes. And he goes into the da-da-da-da, what have we done? And then just like the interlude with all 3 guitars, Adrian's tapping solo. Bruce comes back. Oh, yeah. The whole crowd's like, oh. I mean,
that's one of the great Iron Maiden songs.
And we never saw it live until Book of Souls last year. Yeah. And fucking thank God. Like,
I'd want to see it again.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anything from Number of the Beast besides Invaders and Gangland is fair game. Yeah. That album is fucking amazing. Like, and I don't think we really give it enough credit, but like we talked about it before, how like every live show you go see, they're probably going to play at least 3 songs from Number of the Beast because it's just so fucking good. And we've been fortunate to see. We've seen how many songs from Number of the Beast now, man? I mean, we've seen like half the album, probably half.
Children of the Damned, Run to the Hills, Hallowed Be Thy Name, Number of the Beast, Prisoner. Yeah.
So, the only song that we probably want to see that we haven't seen, well, 2 probably, 22 Acacia Avenue and Total Eclipse.
Yeah, 22 Acacia Avenue is a song that I think that'd be awesome to play again live.
I'd love to see it. Yeah. I'd love to see it. But thank God we got to see all this stuff. It's unbelievable, man. Like, just sitting here thinking about it, ridiculous.
Yeah, you're really privileged.
And at the end of the song, we just talk about Steve shooting people with his bass. He shoots somebody with the bass. Amazing.
And they die right there on the spot.
They die right there. Children of the Damned, don't fuck with Steve.
Killing people in the crowd with his bass.
Amazing.
He gets away with it, too, because he's Steve Harris.
Steve Harris,
no
does what he
charges.
wants.
Yeah.
Fantastic. After this, we're going into a Book of Souls song.
Death or Glory.
All the same?
I think my memory about like seeing them live, and I'm sure it's yours too, is like when they did the Climb Like a Monkey part.
God, dude. Yeah.
And I'm looking around, I'm like, I don't think people know about this, and like
everybody knows it.
Bruce got around to like in the tour, like doing the he would put his hands up and climb like a monkey, and like I like 100% did it. Every time he said climb like a monkey, I put my hands up and I did it.
Dude, this song is so funny too, and like some of the stuff in the song.
And yeah, that mask, like in the tour, yeah.
I think when we saw him, he had like a hat, a monkey hat, and this one he has like that Velcro monkey around his neck.
Yeah.
But like you said, man, the climb like a monkey, and like in this particular concert, they're doing these shots of the crowd, and like the people are singing like the verses like verbatim, like they know it. It's like just goes to show you like how the new stuff resonates with the crowd. I mean, if you guys listen to our previous podcast, we talked about Book of Souls, like, this is like our second favorite album since the reunion. I mean, it's fucking unbelievable.
I mean, not to like go off on too big of a tangent, but like me and Joe recently saw Metallica live. And before the concert started, they did like a skit where they're doing like a lyric guessing, or a song guessing game. Mm-hmm. And they had the choice to choose in between like old Metallica, new Metallica songs, and like everybody chose like old stuff. And that's like Metallica fans, like they just like old stuff, no new stuff. Yep. Everybody loves the old stuff. Well, I think if you took a poll of like Iron Maiden fans, a lot of them would love the new stuff over the old stuff. Mm. And me and Joe are like almost 50-50 between old and new stuff.
It's so hard, man. Like it depends on the day.
And like what bands could you say that about now? I mean, yeah, like everybody's gonna choose the old stuff, and absolutely. Like Iron Maiden's just from like sheer force of will, their new stuff is like amazing.
It is, and it's hard to say it. And like right now at the present moment, if you're looking at like golden era stuff, if you're not including like the Paul era, you're not including the '90s stuff, and you're looking at what Matt and I call the golden era and the silver era, which honestly, you're looking at it this way, both of them are golden eras. It's like reunion...
different way, yeah.
It's like reunion era and like 82 through 88 era. Like, you got Number of the Beast, Peace of Mind, Powerslave, Somewhere in Time, and Seventh Son. And then you have Brave New World, Dance of Death, A Matter of Life and Death, The Final Frontier, and The Book of Souls. Like, how the fuck do you even, like, pick? Like, we just talked about on the Book of Souls, like, podcast, how The Red and the Black and Empire of the Clouds are, like, two of the greatest songs they've ever done, ever. Like, how do you even, like... it's, like, impossible, dude. You're right. Like, it's sickening. And some of the stuff they do here, the Clown Like the Monkey thing, like you said, was amazing. I love when Davey's Sutherland in this, like, in the video, and Bruce goes over and he's, like, fucking attacking him with a monkey. Then he, like, grabs a monkey and pets it. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
Bruce nowadays is, like, he's kind of that, like, classic British humor of just being, like, goofy and weird, and it's awesome.
It
is
awesome.
I'm glad he doesn't take himself so seriously. I mean, the dude just had cancer, and, like, he comes out on stage, and I think he's, like, maybe, like, in the past, there were times he did take himself pretty serious, and you kind of see that in some shows. And now, it's just having fun. He's just going to enjoy life and have fun. And I like seeing it. I like seeing it from Bruce and being happy.
Me too. We'll talk about later, too, at the end when we talk about Wasted Years, some of the fun stuff that happens. But
that's some of the, like, most classic stuff
that they've
done live.
It's sweet. And then, obviously, Davey's solo in this is face melting. Adrian's solo with that sickening tremolo picking is just disgusting. And then Davey's like whammy bar stuff towards the end of the song where they get back into the verse is just like Dave's like, you're like, holy shit, Dave. Like,
you can tell they love playing the new stuff. It's just a lot of fun.
It's disgusting, dude. Bruce's outfit in this too, I forgot to mention, is like he has like this really cool like tannish color jungle looking stuff with like this netting around his neck. It's just like the costume. Whoever designs this stuff is a genius. Like, seriously, I don't know. I don't
know if they have like a costume designer or if Steve and Bruce and all these guys just come up with this stuff out of their head and they just make it. Who knows?
I think they do. I think there was a DVD I watched where they had some lady do all the costumes, which she's a genius. Whoever
Bruce,
thank you.
Yeah, Bruce is a like I don't know, like he's just a creative genius. He just knows like what works. It's just weird. Like he named they had the Trooper Bear. He named the red and the black one.
Yeah, exactly. They have so many different. They have like so many different flavors now too. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Great beer.
Amazing, dude. I want you to talk about this next one because.
Yeah, I mean, this is like when we saw him live. There's two songs that when we saw him live that were like transcendent, like above the rest, and this is one of them. And I was really looking forward to the song live, and honestly, it didn't disappoint at all. Which is, sometimes that happens. You look forward to something and it disappoints you, and this one didn't at all. It was an amazing live song.
And Matt and I talked about this a little bit too on the previous podcast of how really like stage production on this song, in terms of like what they use and stuff, wasn't really there. I mean, it's pretty much like
it's straightforward, yeah.
Yeah, it's straightforward. It's like a red light on Steve and red light. There's like a red light on the entire time. It's like red.
Yeah.
And
they're really like, we talk about Iron Maiden and their production and the stuff they add, and it's cool. Like especially when you see like an older song and they add a new twist to it, it's cool. There was no need to add anything. You didn't need any stage effects for this song. It is just straightforward, just awesome stuff. And watching them have fun on the stage together, I think this song more than any other is just like them playing as a band.
Oh yeah,
100%. Everybody's involved.
Absolutely.
You need all three guitarists to play the song because Dave plays the rhythm during the instrumentation part, while Janik and Adrian do like these melodies together, and it sounds incredible live.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, man, everything you said. Some of the lines in this too. When we saw it in the live chapter, I guess he just did this throughout. When Bruce goes before the actual lyric, he goes, "Meanwhile,"
yeah,
and then they go, "Meanwhile, we play the waiting." I mean, it's fucking hilarious. It's that humor, but it's so perfect. Like in terms of a live thing, it's perfect.
The other thing about this song live is the O's.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that too, man.
Yeah,
I love it. Oh, it's
even when we saw him, the crowd like was completely into it after like singing the O parts. And like I know, like seeing Iron Maiden live, especially in America, that a lot of people have only listened to like the older stuff, so they're not really familiar with the new stuff when they go see a show. And when we got to see him, I mean, everybody was into it, and they could tell like right away that this was a really, really good song.
Absolutely, and just so much stuff with this song.
Such a fun live song too.
It was, Adrian and Yan playing together. Like it's the first time you really get to see them. Like, they're really enjoying like playing together. I mean, like on this tour, the Book of Souls tour, Davey comes out with this just disgusting Les Paul. It's like this sunburst Les Paul. Fuck, dude. I mean, just sexy as hell. Adrian has an amazing solo. Yan has an amazing solo. Davey has an amazing solo, back to back to back. Like, all three of them solo in a row. Goes back into the melody. Then Adrian has another solo. It sounds kind of Wasted Yearsy at the end. It's like a little, like, hammery, pulley. It's like...
Yeah, and then they go in that
the instrumental
part.
And that part with the instrumental part is where I start to, like, tear up. I'm just like...
It's transcendent.
Amazing. I mean, I'm tearing up right now thinking about it.
It's like one of the top. We've seen Iron Maiden, a bunch of times, and it's up there with like the best moments we've seen Iron Maiden live. It's like
absolutely.
When we saw him in the Somewhere Back in Time tour, that Rhyme the Ancient Mariner part was the highlight of that whole show, and me and Joe still talk about it's the greatest moment we've ever seen in a live concert, and this is that moment in this show, where that red and the black part.
And like Matt said earlier, when they go back into the main riff and Bruce just starts bobbing his head, he's like looking out at the crowd and there's like, oh, like that part where just seeing him go like this, like you can tell he's just like, I love my life. Like you can just tell he's like,
yeah, he owns everybody.
And when he says, and he closes the song, just, I need somebody to save me. And then the red light comes back on, the spotlight's just shining on Steve.
You get that bass,
He plays the bass outro, which is the same as the intro, and then it just lights out. Like you're just like...
Amazing.
Speechless. Like,
yeah.
Speechless, dude.
Clapping doesn't really justify.
You can't even clap. You're just like stunned. You're just like, the fuck was that? Like, it was so good.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know whether you just like... I read a review somewhere where this guy was talking about, like, Iron Maiden albums, and he ranked them, and he was like, choosing between Iron Maiden albums is like choosing between, like, the 16 best blowjobs you've ever had. It's, like, true. And this is, like, one of those moments. It's, like, you just, like, felt like a god came down, and, like, you just had sex with a god or something, or, like, I don't even know. It's incredible.
Just witnessed a miracle.
Like a miracle, yeah. Like, it's transcendent.
Yeah.
And then after this, they go into one of the most classic Iron Maiden songs of all time. Trooper. One of your favorite songs, isn't it?
I think it's a good use of like setting up a set list. That Red and the Black's a really long song, and maybe people aren't as familiar with it as some of the other songs, but it really is cool. And then you just come out and you just hit them with the Trooper. You just keep that energy level like
sky high.
Yeah. It's a perfect use of the Trooper.
Absolutely. And Bruce comes out in the full costume,
Never disappoints. No, the Trooper is never like one time I've ever seen the Trooper where I was just like...
Amazing.
Nah. I mean, it's always amazing.
Yeah, it's not even that good, It's not good. I mean, I will say, like, I think we talked about this on Death on the Road, like when Bruce came out, he wasn't really wearing the costume, but he was sick on that tour, He comes out and he's wearing the whole costume, and I think they actually upped the production on this. Like, this Trooper flag that he's carrying is, like, damaged. It looks like there's some, like, bullet holes in it. There's rips in it. There's, like, all kinds of stuff. It looks like they upped the production on the fucking flag he's carrying. It looks just like the picture.
It's literally the flag from the Charge of Light Brigade.
It looks like it. Like, it literally looks like it, though. It looks just like the art. Like, it looks just like the backdrop, like the art. It's disgusting. And another, obviously, Adrian and Janik have, like, this amazing dual guitar solo in it. Bruce hangs the flag over Janik while he's playing the guitar, and then Davey has a solo, and, like, after he solos, like, I guess one of the crew members is, like, poking an iguana out of, like, an iguana puppet out of the, like, one of the rooms, and Davey's, like, stabbing it with his guitar. It's just hilarious, man.
Yeah, they're having a lot of fun.
It's just great to see. Like, I lit up watching it. I was just laughing. I was like, this is fucking hilarious. Like, it's so good. Amazing. Trooper never disappoints. That's amazing.
Never once, nope.
And then after that, you feel this heartbeat. You're just like, you still talking about the Trooper?
No.
You feel this heartbeat, and the heart beating is happening, and it's like, what could that heartbeat be? And then you're like, what is it? And then it's right into Powerslave, a perfect song.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, absolutely, like perfect song to be playing. It fits the mood of the whole tour. Perfect.
And if you listen to our Book of Souls podcast, and we talked about how this is like Powerslave Part 2, when you watch the live chapter, or if you watch the live chapter, or if you're listening right now to this podcast, I want you right now, right, or after this podcast is over, go listen to Powerslave, and then seriously, like put on the Book of Souls song, like the title track, and you'll just see how it just goes hand in hand with it. I mean, it's insane. It's perfect, man. I mean, there's like a Mayan chief in the background. Like, the backdrop is the Mayan chief from inside the artwork of the Book of Souls artwork. Bruce is wearing
Looks sweet.
Bruce is wearing like this luchador mask. It's insane. There's one of my favorite parts of the entire like recording of this Powerslave version is there's like these yellow lights on the stage and they all light up, and like Davey has that sunburst Les Paul, and like when the light hits it, like because there's like yellow tints in his Les Paul, it just like lights up. It's insane.
Yeah.
And he has this amazing solo in it. The whole band's jumping around. Adrian has a tapping solo in it. There's all three guitars. There's an interlude. The whole band, like I said, is just jumping. Davey has another solo. Davey has two solos in it. Bruce takes his mask off at the end. It's like one of my favorite parts. He takes his mask off at the end of the song. And he's just like sitting there with his arms crossed, like he looks like a mummy. And it's like Powerslave, dude. Like it's fucking ridiculous. He like bows his head like he's a mummy. It's just like, are you laying in a sarcophagus? Like, what are you doing? Like, this is amazing. Just little hints and touches like that just make everything that they do. Like, you guys have no idea. Like, we're sitting here, like, I'm, like, reliving. I wasn't even at the recording of this. Like, this was, like, in Europe somewhere. And I'm sitting here, like, amazing. Because I've seen Powerslave on Somewhere Back in Time, and I've seen it on this. And I've watched Live After Death a million times, and I've watched Flight 666 a million times, and I've listened to that album a million times. And I've recently just got most of the Iron Maiden collection on vinyl. I mean, and it's like, you have no idea. Like, seriously, just watch the DVD. It's incredible. Speechless.
That, like, Powerslave performance, and especially in this, and then when we saw him live, I mean, it's just like one of those songs that like the whole band plays together. It's incredible. Everything goes together. It's vocals. I love that middle part, little intro where Dave's playing his guitar and it builds up into solo. It's amazing.
That whole Davey part, man, is just like some of his most disgusting guitar work ever. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm looking at Matt right now in his face, and his eyes are he's tearing up right now. He is literally tearing up. It's like incredible.
This tour was the last time we saw Iron Maiden. And, some breaking news here. Me and Joe have recently purchased tickets to 2 shows to go see them on the Legacy of the Beast tour here in Pittsburgh and in Washington, D.C. this summer.
If you guys are around when they play at the in Bristow, Virginia at Jiffy Lube Live, it's going to be like July 20-something of 2019. We're going to be there. And we're also going to be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at our favorite hockey team's facility, the PPG Pants Arena, Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah, we got great tickets for that. Right off to the side of the stage. We're going to have a perfect shot of the whole stage on Davies' Adrian side. I mean, it's going to be an amazing show.
And that's going to be on like August 17th or something like that, 2019. You guys are around. You guys are listening to the podcast. You're from PA. You're from DC. We hope you're there. We hope you listen. We hope you got tickets too to enjoy it. And if you haven't got tickets to those shows, please just if you can afford.
I mean, just like reliving like this the Book of Souls live chapter and the time we got to see him live on this tour is like making me want to just like see them again really bad.
And it's coming. We have how many days on that countdown calendar?
Oh, I keep it up. I have like the Ticketmaster app, and it like tells you like how many like days, like hours, minutes, and like seconds until the show starts. And currently we've got 224 days, 22 hours, 19 minutes, and 17 seconds until the concert starts.
Amazing.
That's a long way away, but
it'll be here before we know it, brother.
Yeah, like we've been counting down since like 250 days. So,
and that kind of leads into the next song, "The Great Unknown," because we don't know what it's going to be like to see Maiden on Legacy of the Beast.
It's Great Unknown.
The Great Unknown.
This song live was like really, really cool because of like obviously the song's like awesome, but when we saw him live, at the end like Bruce had the band just like in the palm of his hand, and they kept playing like the end over and over again
loop.
until he like decided it was enough, and he was just funny, like the look on his face, and he's like just sitting there with like his hand on his chin, just waiting.
Because really, his lyric is the closer for this, and he does it on the DVD, on the recording too, and it's not a DVD, it's a live stream. Excuse me. But yeah, Matt, that part is awesome. That's like one of my favorite parts of the whole song, and
it was one of my favorite parts of the whole
show.
Yeah.
He says this is a song about spatial awareness. And he just gets everybody clapping. You know, Nick has that build up on drums.
The atmosphere too is live is really cool with this song. Just the spacey guitars and the lights. The lights, we didn't even talk about like the lights in the stage production. Yeah, I like them a lot more than the Final Frontier production.
Me too. I mean, a lot of the lights on this have like a really cool beginning. Like they're blue or greenish colored. Actually, they're mostly blue or purple throughout. And then when you get in like heavy parts, they go like yellow, orange, red, like aggressive colors.
It's a really underrated thing with Iron Maiden is their light show that they put on. It really adds a lot to the show.
It's great. And we talk about this on the Book of Souls album podcast. How the song starts off really slow and then gets heavier and heavier as it goes along. And I personally forgot to mention this, and I wanted to. At the beginning, when Bruce sings, "Winter's softly falling to the ground," and the first verse is like really, really soft. It like the lyrics just like fit the music perfectly. Yeah. Like winter's softly falling to the ground. Let's play the soft. It's like you don't even think about that, and
it fits that like the mystique of the Book of Souls album perfectly too. It has that kind of like eerie mystique to it, and like seeing it live and seeing it like watching the Book of Souls live chapter, or you maybe got it on CD or record or whatever, you know, like it's really, really cool. I'm like really like privileged that Iron Maiden does that kind of stuff.
Yeah, same here. I'm fortunate, and the backdrop too and the art for this song is amazing. It's Mayan Eddie holding like a decapitated head of like a soldier, like a Mayan soldier, like a Mayan Indian soldier. It's just art they created specifically for the tour.
That's another thing. Like, I didn't want to didn't mention is like those backdrops they do are like sick, and the fact that they change them like pretty much every single song.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's just the net artwork, and that's stuff they don't have to do. They don't have to do that kind of stuff. They do it for the fans, and it's great.
Yeah, the song kicks ass. Yannick solo, amazing. Then they go into like another verse or a chorus, and then, there we go, Adrian solo and a Davey solo.
Another one. Amazing. Another classic.
3 guitar solo. Disgusting.
Yeah, seeing it live is just like so like, I don't even know what the word is, like overwhelming. You're just like watching one guitarist and you look at the other one and it's just like these like face melting solos is in front of you. It's just...
Iron Maiden, we talked about before, has always been one of those bands that have like this amazing guitar attack, and we've always talked about that. And like, I think out of all the modern day albums, this one just has the most... like 3 guitars. Like they kind of started out, like you said, with Dance of Death. Like that kind of set the tone for like the modern day like Maiden theme and like lineup and how they were going to write music. And it just got better with A Matter of Life and Death. Got better with Final Frontier. Got amazing with Book of Souls. I mean, like it's fucking untouchable.
Because band's been around for like 40 years and they just like getting better at stuff. It's incredible.
Yeah, how do you do it? You would think they would diminish the quality of their stuff, but it's like
the production's getting better. The tour art's getting better, more elaborate, and then like even like the new Legacy of the Beast tour is even like taking it to another level.
They fucking they open with Aces High and they literally have a replica Spitfire fucking plane from World War II. Like who does that? Who the fuck does that? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And then after Great Unknown they play another amazing song from the Book of Souls album, the title track, The Book of Souls.
Yeah, this was a treat. This one's a treat to see live.
Amazing.
I mean, the atmosphere and everything with it. And, like, Bruce gives that little opener to the song, about how, like, this is one possible way that, the mind
just vanish. They just vanish. Yeah. This is the Book of Souls. And they play it.
Welcome to the Book of Souls.
Amazing. Ian has an amazing acoustic guitar intro. There's a Mayan Eddie backdrop where he's just standing there holding like an obsidian tomahawk weapon. and the light, like the lighting behind him is just blue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, another thing. Green is my favorite color. Green. Just in case anybody doesn't know out there, green's my favorite color. And if I mentioned it before, Adrian Smith, Sam Demas, Dinky Jacks.
Oh.
Green one.
Oh.
Fuck, is it killer? It's transparent
nice.
green.
Yeah.
Is a killer, man. Maple fretboard killer.
It's a nice looking guitar.
And it's cheap. If you guys are looking to buy one, like not cheap as like shitty, but like it's cheap. It's like $500. Like that's cheap for that.
Signature. For a signature guitar? Yeah.
With a Floyd Rose tremolo. Adrian Smith signatures on it.
You can have a little piece of Maiden there in your guitar collection.
$500.
Maybe it'll be the next guitar Joe buys. Who knows?
I might. We'll see.
Next week I might be arriving.
4, 5, 6, 7 guitars.
Might be arriving next week for his 8th guitar.
Amazing. Gotta round it up. Gotta have an even number. You know?
Yeah.
Well, one's a bass, so does that count? I don't know.
It's a guitar.
It's a bass guitar. You're right. Amazing. Another thing about this song that I just love, I think, in terms of like we talk about the idea of the sun and moon. The sun and moon, prophecy of sky god. Amazing. I mean, what they sing about. The lighting rig, much like Rhyme the Ancient Mariner on Somewhere in Time, that came down as a boat, like, descends from the ceiling and it's a Mayan calendar. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what else are they gonna do? I mean, honestly.
Like, compared to, like, even, In Vivo, and the art on that was, like cool, but this is, like...
Worlds beyond it.
It blows it out of the water. It almost blows any like tour art out of the water that they've done. I mean, that's saying a lot from Iron Maiden, but like it's pretty awesome.
It is
as an album tour, especially as a album tour art is better than anything. And that's not even close.
That's another reason why if you guys listen to the Book of Souls podcast, Matt and I compared it to Powerslave because it has it's like. It feels like a history tour, but it's not a fucking history tour.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. It's an album tour, but it feels like it's been around for like 30 years.
It's one thing with, like, the album history tours when they're pulling from, like, 4 albums to make the art. And that's why it's, like, so awesome. This is one album. And there's so much great art with this. It's amazing.
I think in terms of... Matt and I were talking about this. Like, I sent Matt, like, a list of all the Maiden stuff we've seen and, like, where I ranked. And I originally said, like, Somewhere Back in Time was the best. Then probably Seventh Son as a concert, then Book of Souls tour, then... But if I look at it now, the only reason I said Seventh Son was so good was because Alice Cooper opened for the band, and I love Alice Cooper. And it was just like, he had the theatrical performance like Maiden had. So like as a whole show, it was awesome. But if you just look at Maiden and their stage production, this is like either on par with Somewhere Back in Time, or like honestly, it could potentially even be like better.
In a way, like the Somewhere Back in Time art was like I said, it was good, and it pulled from like 4 albums to make that art. Mm-hmm. So it was actually like it was kind of easy to come up with that art, you know. In a way, it's easy. And this is just like creativity and just I don't know. It's just great. It's the best. It's probably the best art they've ever done.
Amazing, man. I don't even... The production of this is disgusting. Bruce is with the destruction begins, and there's like fire on the stage and just lights up, and the altars stay lit. Oh, yeah. Nico's cymbal hits make the fire come up. Like,
I forgot about like that fire part of this song. It's a nice touch.
There's faces.
Who doesn't love fire?
There's faces in these fucking totems, like the album cover on the inside that light up with red eyes. Davey has a solo, goes back into the lyrics. Mass exodus and plant life destroyed. Fucking Yannick has a solo. Adrian has a solo. Bruce is fighting Eddie. He has like a jacket on and he's gloves. He rips fucking Eddie's heart out. Eddie walks out on stage on this one. The walk on Eddie is a Mayan Eddie with the obsidian axe that's in the picture of the fucking backdrop. It's insane. He comes out. Bruce fights him. Davey fights him. Yan fights him. Bruce kills him. Well, doesn't kill him, but like rips his heart out.
Yeah.
And there's blood spraying everywhere. Like he's literally going up to band members and like spraying them with blood. Like one shot of this, if you guys watch the live chat when you watch the Book of Souls song, like towards the end of the song, there's literally like blood caked on like Adrian's face. Like it's all over his face.
I wonder what he thought about that.
It's hilarious. And then he throws the heart in the crowd. He like throws it in the crowd. It's insane. It's fucking ridiculous, dude. I don't even know what to say.
Such an awesome part.
And then Yannick closes with the acoustic outro, the same thing he played for the intro. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like how it builds and then just gets quiet again, like and just closes out. Like I don't even know, like, what other concert we've seen that was like that. Like,
yeah,
the singing.
They just keep getting better and better. It's, I mean, it's scary to think of, like, what it's going to be like when we go see them for the Legacy of the Beast tour. And if this can be topped.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. After Book of Souls, we get kind of a classic vibe here, classic feel with a song they usually play on almost every set list. The one that I'm kind of tired of hearing. Matt probably is too. Fear of the Dark.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could say about Fear the Dark is, like, maybe it does fit the mood a little more than, like, normal, but they shouldn't play Fear the Dark every single tour. Like, they should give it a break, and that would be, like, I think refreshing for everybody.
Put Phantom of the Opera instead of this.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. Phantom of the Opera should be a staple. Like, Fear the Dark is a good song live.
I'm not saying they should never play it live, they should just not play it every single time.
At least alternate with Phantom of the Opera. Like,
or something.
Do something. Like, I'd rather... Phantom of the Opera's like the same length. Play Phantom of the Opera.
And it's like 1,000 times the song that Fear of the Dark is.
It is. Cool things about the song. Yank's been doing this since the 90s. He was on the Fear of the Dark album. The pinched harmonic at the end, when he says Fear of the Dark, that's... Like, that part's cool. Adrian comes out with a really cool gold top Les Paul. Another thing about this DVD, I keep saying DVD because I wish it was a DVD, but it's not. It's a live streamed video. Again, sorry, excuse me. Everybody by this point in the concert is covered in sweat. Like, Bruce is wearing like these tan cargo pants, and they're just like soaked.
Shows you how much effort they put into a live performance. They don't just stand there and play.
Yeah, and like the guys were wearing jackets and like blazers and stuff. Well, they took them off. Like Adrian had like a scarf on. He took it off. Like they're all wearing like these muscle shirts. Like they're all in like just muscle shirts. And Yan solo goes in the Davey solo. And there's a really, at the end of it, one of my favorite shots of this actual thing that's really cool for this particular song. There's some neat camera mashup with the crowd. And there's like the crowd in the background. And then like they kind of like phase Steve in and they phase Bruce in at the same time. Like Steve's on the left-hand side, Bruce is on the right. And like Bruce is singing, Steve's playing a bass riff, and the crowd's like in the background. It looks really cool. Like the way they did the camera stuff. It's just neat. And then after Fear, they play the name of the band, Iron Maiden.
Never disappoints.
Amazing. Scream for me, Buenos Aires. Scream for me, Argentina. Amazing. Adrian comes out with a red Les Paul. How many Les Pauls does he have? I don't know. Amazing.
100.
It seems like this tour they use
50 of them backstage. Just grab each one.
They use a lot of Les Pauls in this tour. It's like one of the first tours I've actually seen. I mean, Davey plays one. I think the only person who doesn't play one is probably Yan.
Yeah, it's interesting. They went from like Rock and Rio where they played almost exclusively Fenders, and now they're like playing a bunch of Les Pauls.
Another guitar I have in my collection, guys, in case you don't know, is a Les Paul.
Yeah,
it's classic. I mean, you have to have it. You have to have a Les Paul.
I have one. Everybody get one.
Matt has one. I mean, Matt just got one recently. Matt, I have a Prophecy EX. It's nice. It's an Epiphone. It's an expensive Epiphone though. It's like top of the line. I mean, it's like an $800 guitar.
Yeah.
Matt just got a brand new 2018 American, and it has the plecked fretboard, which is a sweet feature for all you guitar players out there. It plays so smoothly. It's amazing.
It Gibson Les Paul. Yeah, it's legit.
That's all Matt can really say. Legit, you know.
Legit.
Favorite color is orange, right?
Yeah.
Matt's favorite color is orange. It's like a warm bourbon color.
It looks nice. Yeah.
It's disgusting. Check it out. It's ridiculous. Les Paul's amazing. The big Mayan Eddie comes out of the background. It's his head and his torso. His eyes are lit up. And really, the way they filmed the song, too, just encapsulates the energy, the joy, the emotion. Like, every member in the band in the song, I think, smiles when they're playing this. It's like, it's just glorious. Iron Maiden is glorious. Glorious. The song, this performance of it, too, is just, it's one of the best since Rock and Rio, probably, like, in terms of a live concert performance, I think.
Yeah, the energy-wise, yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of the In Vivo version, or it wasn't special, but I thought this one, like, I mean, we've listened, like, Iron Maiden, they played the song Iron Maiden live, like, 2,000 times, so, I mean, it's hard to, like, start, adding stuff onto it, but it was really good. I liked it.
It was really good, and then one of the greatest things about this show, this live chapter, this live performance that we got to see was just the encore, man. I mean, one of the greatest, most unique, and just like most disgusting encores, I think, outside of the stuff we've seen, because it was just so different. it was, you know, I don't even know where to begin, man. Like, what were some of the encores we've seen? Like, some of the encores, they opened with, Aces High. I think they opened with Moonchild once. They open with Number of the Beast on this one, which is a really cool opener. But then the two songs after that, which we'll get to, are just like beautiful.
Yeah, Number of the Beast is kind of a staple of their encore. Like that's usually like the classic Iron Maiden encore because it has that video at the end. The crowd goes, or the audio at the beginning, and the crowd goes nuts for it. And, like, it's obviously like a really great version and has the fire and all that kind of stuff. The two gems of this like encore. Or, you know, first off, like Blood Brothers.
Wow.
Which I think, like I said earlier, like Red and the Black was one of the gems of this, seeing this live. And the other one was Blood Brothers. Which,
wow. Amazing.
Yeah, like, we were, like, me and Joe, when we saw this live, it was, like, in the middle of the song, and I kind of, like, looked at him and, like grabbed his shoulder, like, man, this is awesome. Like, how privileged are we right now to be witnessing this, like, song? And it's not even classic, or what we consider classic Maiden from the 80s. It's
2000, Brave New World. And another thing, too, like...
Like, it blew away. Like, we just saw Number of the Beast, and I'm, like, looking at you like, this song is, like...
better than Number of the Beast.
It's transcendent right now.
It is, like... Number of the Beast on this tour was so awesome, too, because it had, like, a flame backdrop. Yeah. There was this big, like, blow-up Seder. Obviously, Davey's solo on the song's amazing.
Like, all this stuff,
amazing. And Bruce was like, I'll make Germany fucking burn, because I think on the live chapter, it's Germany. When we saw it, it was,
DC.
I'll make Washington, D.C. fucking burn, or whatever the hell he said, Washington burn, or whatever. But then we go Blood Brothers, like Matt said, and it's like, he's like, my friends, we are Blood Brothers. And then they play it, and... what the fuck, dude? Like, even the backdrop was just beautiful, man. Yeah. Like, that Mayan calendar that was in the rafters comes down and, like, turns around. It's like Mayan Eddie's head with all these lights around it.
We had just witnessed, like, a bunch of classic Iron Maiden songs in a row. We just saw Fear of the Dark, Iron Maiden, and Number of the Beast live, and right in a row, and this is, like, blew them out of the water.
And, like, the backdrop has, like, stars. It's like you're looking out into, like, a clear, starry night sky, and it's just, like, beautiful. I mean...
And the band's just up there playing, and they really love it.
It's just... The whole stage lights up for the interlude. Everybody's, like, on par. Bruce says, like, some line, like, a little heavy metal rules this one, or heavy metal rules or something, and everybody starts clapping the da-da, da-da, da-da.
Every time I see Blood Brothers live, I always clap to that part.
Me too, man.
And I always think of Rock and Rio, you know, like, and they do it in there, and it's just cool to do it live.
Davey's melody and the Davey solo kicks ass. Ian's interlude, like the Book of the Dead thing before that, and then his solo was fucking ridiculous. We saw this on the Final Frontier tour too, because for us, like, our Final Frontier tour wasn't like the actual Final Frontier tour.
Not the in vivo, yeah.
We only heard El Dorado from that actual album. We heard Wicker Man, Ghost of the Navigator, Brave New World, Blood Brothers. We heard
No More Lies,
Dance of Death, and Wildest Dreams, and we heard
Reincarnation,
Benjamin Britten, These Colors Don't Run, from Matter, Life, and Death. Honestly, I prefer that tour over the En Vivo one. Like, I'm glad, because I never saw, like, any of that stuff.
Yeah,
that was
like a history tour for us, modern day.
Like a modern day history tour, yeah. And I gotta say, the Book of Souls production on this fucking blew away the Final Frontier production of Blood Brothers. Like, it was fucking ridiculous. Like, even... Bruce Dickinson dedicated Blood Brothers when we saw him for Final Frontier to Ron James Dio, which was amazing.
Yeah.
He dedicated this to us. He was like, my friends were Blood Brothers. Like, and you're just like, and then the stage production and, like, just the joy, and like Matt said, one of the gems on the...
Not even a gem of the show, it's like a gem of our, like, concerts, like, careers. Like, every concert we've ever seen, like, this Book of Souls, the Blood Brothers song is right up there.
And I don't know who decided to say, all right, guys, for the encore, we're going to do Number of the Beast, Blood Brothers, and then we're fucking playing Wasted Years to close. Like, who decided that?
It was such a fresh way to do the encore. Like,
whoever decided to do that, like, if you guys are listening, whoever decided to do Number of the Beast, Blood Brothers, and Wasted Years, like, fucking thank you. That was, like, incredible. And Wasted Years, we can talk about Wasted Years yet.
Blood Brothers and Wasted Years go together so well because they have a emotion to them. I don't even know how to say it. Like, they're not like your typical Iron Maiden songs in a way. they have a lot of feeling and emotion to them, and it was just a great way to leave the concert.
I
and
agree.
when we left, we were just like
blown away.
Yeah, that was amazing seeing those two songs to close.
And I think it goes back to what we talked about when we talked about the Somewhere in Time album, and like we talked about Brave New World and the joy. And our favorite song on that album is Blood Brothers, and it's like the emotion of Book of Souls too. We just talked about the Book of Souls podcast, like the album before this, and how much we love that album because there's so much love and like creativity and like just this genesis of like these organic ideas that are just like perfect. And it's like, what better way to close than that? And I mean, Bruce and the classic one-liners, do not spend your time searching for those. I mean, just everything.
The awesome part about like the live chapter 2 though is how much Bruce just messes with Adrian during
I love it.
The song. I mean, it's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, the microphone. He's taking away the microphone. They're all up there, like even Yannick and Dave are up there, like with Adrian singing, and he's like, and it's cool though too because he lets Adrian sing like the backup part. Yeah, it's so good. And Adrian wrote the song. I mean,
well, he knows Adrian wanted to be a lead singer. That was kind of his dream, and he doesn't have quite the vocals for it, and Bruce does obviously, and he messes with them and he lets them sing the lines and all that kind of stuff. It was fun. It was a lot of fun to watch and to see how far the band's come to like liking each other and just being like really cool individuals.
Another thing I love about it too, my favorite color, like I said, is green, and they chose to use like green lights for Wasted Years. Like it was, the whole stage was like lit up green, and it really hits home like the idea of a jungle too, of like Mayan civilization and culture being in this jungle because it's green. And plant life is in the song Book of Souls, and I mean, like it's a perfect way to close, and just like I really like the backdrop too. It was basically like the Best of the Beast cover they did, but then they had like the Alien Eddie from Final Frontier, and they had like the Reaper Eddie, and they had like Mayan Eddie on the end of it. It was like an updated version of the Best of the Beast cover, which was like just amazing. And I think on the live chapter they played it in Rio. So that was a really cool way to show it, too, because it was like a throwback to Rock in Rio, too, because you're watching it, you're just like, fucking Rock in Rio, man. Like, the concert that Matt and I love, like, that really, like, made us become, like, super huge Mega Maiden fans. Like Matt said, it took us from, like, a 9 out of 10 to, like, a fucking 15 out of 10. Like, it was, like, good.
I saw Rock in Rio, and after that I wanted everything.
Exactly. And the way that they close with this, as the song, and if you watch that like live chapter and they're messing with Adrian after he does like his solo and stuff and he's singing and it's just like, that was beautiful, man. Like the whole show just kicked ass.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention too about this show is that had been the first time me and Joe had seen Iron Maiden in like 4 or 5 years. It was a huge. It was by far the biggest gap we had seen between shows, just because they had not toured anywhere near us in that long.
Yeah, see, our problem was, like Matt just said, okay, it wasn't really a problem. Matt saw the A Matter of Life and Death tour. I had to work or something like that, and I didn't want to drive to Philly. It was a couple years after I got my driver's license. I was nervous, and, like, I didn't want to go. I should have. Huge mistake. Matt saw A Matter of Life and Death in concert. A couple years after that, my first show with Matt was Somewhere Back in Time. Let me tell you, hell of a first show. I mean, so amped up.
Yeah, that's an understatement. I mean, it's still the best show we've ever seen.
Still, as amazing as Book of Souls was, you just can't. I can't tell you how excited I was about that. I'm sure Matt. I mean, we just talked about it the other day. Like, our excitement for that was like at an all-time high. I mean,
that was the pinnacle.
And we saw 2 shows on that tour.
Yeah, a couple months later, we saw
2008. Yeah, we saw them in March and we saw them in June of 2008. Then, 2 years later, we saw 2 shows for the Final Frontier tour, which were that basically new history stuff where they played Brave New World, Dance of Death, and Matter of Life and Death stuff.
Back-to-back days,
And we saw them back-to-back days. So that was it was like a 2-year gap between shows. Then we had another 2-year gap where we saw them on the Made in England tour. We only saw 1 show. Then after that Made in England show in 2012, in June of 2012, we had been seeing Maiden like every 2 years. We didn't see another Maiden show. It took us from June 30th, 2012 to June 3rd, 2017 to see another Maiden show.
Almost 5 years.
Almost, like, damn near 5 years. Like, 27 days, 3 weeks short of 5 years.
I mean, that's, like, crazy, because we've seen, like, all those concerts before that within the span of 5 years, and then we have 5 years out of nothing.
Exactly. And we almost saw them one time in 2016 when they played the first leg in New York, but it would have cost us so much money to go there. Just because I didn't want to drive in New York City. They were playing in, like, what was it, Madison Square Garden?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not driving to New York
City. It was
City.
too hard. It was too much logistics. But now coming up finally in the span of, like, 2 years, we're going to see them 3 times because we're going to go to see 2 more shows.
Yeah, we're going to see that. Like we just mentioned, we're going to see Washington, D.C.
And then a little less than a month later, we got to see in Pittsburgh. It's kind of cool because, like, recently we saw them in, like, back-to-back days. You know, it's, like, a lot to take in, seeing the same show twice in a row like that. Now we get to see them once, and then, like, 3 weeks later, we got to see them again. I mean, it's, like, a dream come true. We got to take both shows in.
Exactly. And we kind of, before we even go here, we kind of just want to wrap up everything because...
Do a big...
This is the last podcast to really feature the albums and the live performances and stuff up to this point. I mean, this is pretty much the history of Iron Maiden in a nutshell. Not for us, obviously.
Yeah, when we put the podcast together, we're like, what do we do? Like, what do we start with? And it's like, do the albums, obviously. Like, review all the albums. And that's like, you know, 1 episode per album. And then, you know, we did the live stuff too. A lot of the live DVDs and shows and the concerts we went to, we talked about. I mean, that's been quite like the journey. What month did we start recording these in?
It was like over the summer. I think it was probably like June.
And now we're sitting here in December and we're still doing this. I mean, that's a long time to be doing these podcasts, and it's been like quite the journey.
It has been, and we just scratched the surface. I mean, Matt and I were discussing today, like, what can we begin? And we already have probably 6, 7, 8 different ideas of where to start.
Yeah, if you have any ideas about podcast episodes or things you like to see or things you like us to talk about, you know, like put them in the comments. We'll take them to heart.
We will, and just so you guys know, you know, I've been working on a lot of art. I'm really passionate about making art for this podcast. I've been working on some really cool stuff. Matt and I discussed some stuff that we'd like to do and some things we'd like to see. If there's any artwork you guys are interested in seeing, you want to see a mashup or something, let me know, and I'll make the art, you know. Like I said, hit me up on Instagram. somewhere.in.time.86.
Link in the description.
Yep, link in the description. Hit me up. We got the Iron Maiden, the podcast, our podcast Instagram. We got the Iron Maiden Facebook page, our podcast. We got the YouTube channel where we actually post this stuff. Comment on that, you know. Type in A Matter of Life and Maiden podcast in your search bar on Google and Safari, whatever kind of computer you're using. Look us up. Watch the videos, you know. We're passionate about this. We're passionate about the band. We're passionate. You know, we're friends. We've been friends for a long time. I mean, you guys listen to episode 0. Matt and I are 32 years of age, and we've known each other since we were 5 years old. I mean, that's a long time of friendship. We've been friends for 27 years. That's a really long time.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to think about. We've almost been like, some people say they've been like, you know, friends for like a lifetime, man. We're getting up there.
We are. I mean, Matt, the first time I met Matt, you know, he was in an alley with one of our neighbor buddies who was our friend at the time. He kind of went his separate way with us when we got to like high school, junior high and high school, but you know, 5 years old, I'll never forget, I had like a Nerf gun. I shot a little Nerf gun on top of the back of my shed in my backyard. Matt came over and said, "Can you come out and play?" It was like him and our one friend who, you know, kind of isn't really our friend anymore, but Matt and I just, you know, for whatever reason.
Yeah, we went to kindergarten together.
We've been doing all kinds of stuff together, and we grew up together. We influenced each other with, you know, we always talk about Tolkien and stuff like that. I was a big fantasy buff growing up. I love fantasy. I love Dungeons and Dragons. I loved J.R. Tolkien. I love The Hobbit. That was like one of my favorite books as a kid. I influenced Matt to like that stuff, and he always influenced me to like science fiction. He loves Star Trek. He loved, you know, all that kind of stuff, and we influenced each other. And then we talk about in episode 0, we came from a classic rock background. My dad listened to stuff. His sister April listened to stuff. I mean, it was just all this really cool, interesting stuff. Went to high school together. We took similar studies in college. We influenced each other to play guitar and like Iron Maiden. And it's just like...
And Iron Maiden's like the culmination of like everything we loved. We love fantasy. We love sci-fi. We love guitars. We love rock music. And it was just like Maiden's everything. Maiden's all that stuff put in the one.
You guys, seriously, I really wish that you guys could be sitting in... We record this podcast in my room. My man cave here, and it's if you look around and just see what's up here, man, I mean, and Matt's room looks almost identical to mine. Like, it's really similar, the way the stuff is laid out and the things that are in it, you know? I got a bookshelf sitting over there filled with history and science fiction books. Matt has the same thing. I got posters of Maiden hanging up. He has stuff like that. I got guitars scattered throughout my room. That's what his room looks like. You know, I got a Conan the Barbarian sword. I mean, I got, like, a map of Middle Earth that's sitting over there. It's just, like, ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we got a lot to look forward to here. Me and Joe, eventually, we're going to rank every Iron Maiden song from worst to best.
I'm so stoked.
And I don't know how many episodes that's going to take. It might take as long as this whole album podcast took, but we're going to do it. We're going to talk about each song, what we like, what we don't like. Look forward to that. I think that's going to be like the gemstone, I think, of our podcast there. But a lot to look forward to, and hopefully we're still doing this podcast when Iron Maiden puts out a new album. That will be a huge part of our podcast. I'm sure that will probably take episodes just talking about it and waiting for it and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. When we hear news, when we hear anything about like releases, I mean, the Christmas card is going to be coming up soon, so we'll see what they got going on with that. They usually post a Christmas card with like new ideas and stuff, so we'll see.
There's little hints, little tidbits in there.
Back in the studio soon for the 17th album.
Yeah.
Amazing. But hey, guys, really, honestly, up to this point, you've been with us for all these podcasts. We really, really appreciate everybody listening and tuning in, whoever's out there. We know that, you know, listening to two guys who are, you know, Maiden fanboys sit around and talk about the band isn't really exactly like everybody's cup of tea, but for those of you out there who are listening and who are as passionate as us, we thank you very much. And if you're not as passionate, we hope you at least enjoy some of the humor and some of the information that we give you. And
some of the passion, yeah.
Yeah, some of the passion. Even if Maiden isn't your favorite band, you know, maybe you want to go out and start a podcast about, like, you know, Metallica. We talked about that. Maybe you guys like them. Do it, you know? It's just, like, something to do. If you're passionate about something, go do it. Love it, you know? We're friends, man. We care about each other. We care about Maiden. We care about the things that we're passionate about. So do what you love, and everybody, till next time, we'll keep you posted on what's going on. Could be Maiden artwork. Could be, Best Steve Epics. Who knows? But we'll see. As always, guys, thanks for listening. This is a Matter of Life and Maiden, the podcast of the Beast. I'm Joe Labriola.
And I'm Matt Wagner.
Take care of yourselves, guys. Cheers.